Hey guys, this is Richard from Spirits of Japan. We are on our 14th Emperor, Emperor Chuai, list of emperors of Japan. And it's going to get interesting after this. This guy was a little more spunkier than his dad, but not as spunky as his grandpa. And Emperor Chuhai, 192 to 200. Emperor at 43, died at the age of 50. So when you compare him to other guys, he died pretty young, and he also died in battle. And I guess he spited a kami. Kami is something that we really don't we use here, and it's kind of loosely regarded as gods, but it's really more deities than anything. Um, Deities are, I think, very close to Native American beliefs, and everything has a spirit or a deity. I think it's probably the best word for it. There are greater and lesser deities, greater and lesser, I guess you call them, gods, I guess, but not in the sense that a lot of Westerners have thought of gods as gods, because these guys really don't give a damn if um, you like them or not. They're there for you when you need them. So, with that said, Emperor Chuai, this guy here, he was the first emperor to be born outside of the daddy son thing, because his uncle actually couldn't have a baby. He had a wife, and they had a young child, a little boy by the name of Wakanuke. He passed on, and he had a niece as a lover, and they were just having a good time. I don't know if she couldn't bear children or what the case may be, but he didn't venture to go up beyond that, so he designated his half brother half brother's son, so his nephew, as crown prince. And so in 192 he became prince, and he married a pretty amazing lady who was the daughter of a legendary Korean prince, and her name was Okinagatarashi-hime, huh? Okinagatarashi-hime. Hime, which means princess, but she goes on to be an empress later, and we're going to talk about her. She's very controversial, and she's my favorite because she's the first empress of Japan. And they don't even have her designated anymore in the Meiji period. They kind of knocked her out, but we'll talk about that. He marries her and has one child. His name is Homutawake, which it eventually becomes Emperor Oljin after his mom releases reign. And we'll talk about that later. He had two other consorts. Yeah, only two: Oto Hime and a girl named called Onakatsu Hime. And Onakatsu, I guess, had two boys, and then Otohime had a boy. So ends up with four boys. So that's pretty rare. Um, he is kind of noted, pretty much as for his kind of. There were a long time ago, up to about 30,000 years ago. They could go far back and look at indigenous people in Japan, and there were the Jomon and the Mishi and the Ainu up north, but there was this group down south, and I forget their name. Kumaso, Kuma, kind of because they got bear-like um, uh, features, or the way they fought was bear-like, or whatever the case may be. So he was number one. He took his capital to Kyushu, so he was the first guy to kind of like take it out of the Kansai region, and he took the capital to Kyushu, and then he just didn't really want to fight um, these Kumaso people, because I guess they weren't worthy of his sword, and I guess his wife, who eventually becomes Empress Jingu, got what do you call that when they channeling. So this kami gets into her and says that he must defeat them, he must go fight them, and he doesn't do it. And so, but she tells him if he doesn't Oh no, he has to fight them, and then he has to battle on to Korea. And he says that no, I'm not going to do all this, and so he gets angry at this particular kami, and whatever the case may be, she had told him if he didn't do what was to happen, they would attack anyway, and you would die in battle, and he does. So uh, uh, it sucks. He died at 50 years old, which is kind of young. When we look back on all of the emperors up so far, for the 13 emperors, we're talking about 115, 127, 136, 113. You know, I think the youngest so far was the fourth emperor. Itoku was like 70 something, 70s, 75, 76, 77 years old. So 50, yeah, that's young. So what ends up happening is that his wife takes over, and I guess the son was too young. I'm going to tell you that story because it's kind of a weird story. She takes over the battle, and she goes to Korea, and she battles on for so many months and comes back pregnant. I guess she had conceived before she left, and there's a whole controversy there. And I'll explain that to you later because we don't have time in this segment. But any case may be, um, this Chuai guy, yeah, he's 192 to 200, only 7 years. So it's a very, very short reign, the shortest reign of any of the emperors so far. He dies the youngest. He is the first that I'm aware of that's told directly by a kami to do something, doesn't do it, and therefore pays the consequences for it. So there you go. We are 14th emperor, Emperor Chuai, who didn't listen to the gods. So we will discuss Empress Jingu probably in a couple of days. And thanks for listening. This is Richard, Spirits of Japan.